My name is Heron Greensmith. I'm here to talk to you about bisexual people. Normally when I give this speech, I start with something like, I bet you didn't know that bisexual people make up more than half of the lesbian, gay, and bisexual community. And did you know that bisexual is actually a community label used by millions of people who have the potential to be attracted to more than one gender? And then under that community label are people who are pansexual, people who are fluid, queer, and millions of other gorgeous identities. When I give this speech, I always make sure to remind people that there are transgender bisexual people, there are non-binary bisexual people, there are genderqueer and gender non-conforming bisexual people, and I let people know that people of color are more likely to identify as bisexual than white people. Then I'll start talking about the disparities. And I'll say, I bet you didn't know that bisexual people have far lower incomes than straight, gay, and lesbian people. In fact, half of bisexual people live on a household income of less than $30,000 a year.
Wow.
And fully 1/3 of bisexual and pansexual transgender people were unable to go to the doctor last year because they couldn't afford to. Then I talk about youth. I usually start with this one. It'll come in a second. I trust it. I'll say, did you know that 20% of all youth experiencing homelessness identify as bisexual? All youth. 1 in 5 young people experiencing homelessness identifies as bisexual. And I'll talk about the impact that bullying and discrimination have on bisexual youth, compounded by the utter lack of targeted services and programs. And then I'll share this stat. This one's a doozy. 1/3 of bisexual identified female youth in the past year have attempted suicide. We are failing our bisexual youth. And finally, I'll talk about the violence epidemic facing bisexual communities. Half of bisexual women have experienced rape in their lifetimes.
Yep.
Far more than lesbian women and straight women. And then I'll usually end with a reminder about the lack of funding for bisexual communities, how less than 1% of all funding for LGBT communities goes to bisexual programs and services. The thing is, I give this talk all the time. In fact, I bet a lot of you know some of these statistics. So today I'm not going to give that talk. Instead, I'm going to share 3 stories. Stories of bisexual people who have done, against phenomenal odds, amazing, amazing things. Lani Kahumahu is one of the first modern bisexual activists. From the streets of San Francisco to the halls of the White House, Lani has fought for bisexual inclusion for nearly 50 years. She is the co-editor of the groundbreaking anthology By Any Other Name, coming up on its 30th anniversary. Highly recommend you purchase that book. Give it a review on Amazon. Lani is our history. Andrea Jenkins is the first Black, queer, bisexual, transgender woman to serve as a city council person. She is a historian, a poet, an activist, an advocate, and an educator. For years, she has worked in public service in Minneapolis, and now for the first time, she is a true public servant. Andrea is our present. Akshay Kumar is the first known person to successfully claim asylum due to their bisexuality. And they now work for the Asian American and queer youth of the Asian Task Force Against Domestic Violence in Boston, the Youth Empowerment Project, and the Queer South Asian Collective. Through their work, they train youth survivors of violence to become leaders in their own communities and to further train survivors on resilience and healing. AFIA also works with service providers on cultural humility and responsiveness, so they can provide immigrant clients with the right kind of support. AFIA is our future. I'm glad to give you all a different speech today because together we can imagine. We can imagine if we supported bisexual people the way we support gay and lesbian people, what breathtaking things our community could achieve. Thank you.